It's a full moon. So you know what that means. That means this is a new beginning. So of course, the full moon is in Aries. And what is Aries? Aries is cardinal. Feel me? The trendsetter. The starter of a new fire. Your spirit, which is the fire. The gas. Your space. Your circumference. This is a new beginning. It's a new beginning to basically put new passions, new gifts, new goals, new anger, new aggression, new sex positions, new papers, and burning away anything that holds you no purpose. People, places, and things, certain thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's time to basically put that shit to death. Feel me? This ain't a time where you need to be basically starting new shit. Yeah, start new projects. The ones that you're basically receiving due to this full moon. Feel me? Can't be trying to add on to other shit. You gotta focus on what you basically dealing with in your closet. If your closet got too much shit, universe ain't gonna be able to give you a whole lot of shit to be able to handle. So you gotta basically deal with the shit that you got in your closet first. And when you're better off basically drifting and getting rid of these things, and you can better off handle these things, yeah, then you can act down in natures. But don't go to the full extremes though. I mean, do small particles, but make sure you get shit done today too. Because you can either die today, depending on how much work and intent and how much aggression and anger and feelings, emotions that you're utilizing, or vice versa. So yeah, when we dealing with these energies, you got to be very careful. And of course, we got Sun in Libra. You know, Libra, Mars is actually detriment in Libra, as in it falls. So if you can't basically get with the program as far as relating and having balance and shit, feel me? You can't miss the other. Your sun is your actions, and the moon is your reaction, your reflection. So basically, you're gonna be feeling the need to basically do this. So this is intense passion and willpower, determination. Feel me? So you got cardinal sun in this position for 30 something days, and you got moon and Aries in this motherfucker for a couple days, and then it goes into Taurus, which Libras don't really fuck with Taurus neither. But yeah, let's get into these energies. We got the sun opposing the moon. So basically, this dealing with self-balance, acting out. Yeah, sun opposing moon. So this is basically a good time to put intentions towards where you want to see yourself, as far as when the next phase of the moon come into play. Because you know, it's opposite when it's a full moon during the sun. So opposites attract. So you know, you're gonna have the sun and you're gonna have the moon. So of course, these are the two things. These are the two beings that's rotating. You got the moon that rotates right. You got the sun that rotates left. So it's basically the opposite. And of course, this is intention to basically release anything that don't serve you no purpose. When you got the sun opposing Chiron, so this is basically seeing the actions towards where we can heal each other, people, places, and things, and basically gratifying towards abundance. Feel me? And also, we got Mars square Saturn, so it's basically seeing our actions and our ambitions and our goals have somewhat of turmoil as far as where we can be starting or basically be procrastinating. So you don't want to do both. You want to make sure you put in the work and getting through all obstacles that's trying to hold and shape you back. We got Jupiter sextile Neptune. So it's basically self-spirituality, creativity, ambition, faith, and abundance towards the world. If you believe in yourself, you can basically create these things. Also, we got motherfucking moon conjunct Chiron. So that's basically dealing with past hidden trauma, where we can relate to other people, places, and things and go through new experiences as far as getting out of that funk or reappearing that funk. So it's up to you to basically heal from that. Also, we got motherfucking Mars square Pluto. So this basically dealing with hidden fears and shit, and coming out of the closet and basically learning how to put transformation towards your passions to where you want to be seen in life, and not basically holding too much anger or create enemies during this time. And try not to be too mixy. For me, it's a full moon. You can fucking die today. Also, we got Saturn conjunct Pluto. So this basically blending in your career towards deep healing, and as far as getting through anything that's trying to hold you back. Feel me? Because remember, if you don't take care of your responsibilities and careers, Pluto gonna put representations in front of you to the point it may have to transform you and take everything away in order for you to basically get rid of the program. So take that into consideration. Also, we got motherfucking Neptune sextile Pluto. So this is basically spiritual faith and transformation. So of course, during this time, you putting your faith and towards you and not putting it towards something outside of you. Feel me? Because when you believe in yourself, you gain more. When you put your belief in things outside of you, you get less. So you don't want to be doing that. You want to be more. You don't want to be blessed. You don't want to be less. You want to be more. Be careful with these words you use. It can be held against you in many ways that you wouldn't imagine and shit. So also we got Sun square Jupiter. So it's basically learn how to impress yourself and with others during times, as far as relating to people, places, and things and shit. And this is very important to basically take this into consideration. You don't want to this is a learning time, especially for all Sagittarius too. For me, it's a time to basically learn and not basically get too logical, or you might get into debates during this time too, so be careful. Also, we got motherfucking Moon square Jupiter. So let's learn how to relate to emotional satisfaction. We got Mercury opposing Uranus, so thoughts of rebellious natures and arguments. You may feel the need to basically detach from people, places, and things, and not get in certain conversations because that's what your mind state gonna be. But you know, you don't want to be too passive during this time. You want to be today Thursday, so you want to accumulate all the information and experiences during this time. Venus trine Mars, so it basically desires for passions or ambitions and goals. For me, this can be good or bad. So depending on what kind of seeds you planting, this will dictate a whole lot and put you towards where you need to be or where you want, or versus where you don't want to be. Also, we got motherfucking Jupiter conjunct Saturn, so there's basically expansion with our career and letting go of fears and shit during this time. So you want to make sure you put in the work to basically put you where you need to be, expand and contrast. For me, expand and contraction versus not letting go, because you know, once you get through Pluto stage, you gotta learn how to basically transform and get rid of anything that don't serve you no purpose, versus motherfucking expansion and growth. Because for me, and that's what you need to move on in life. You don't want to be stuck or stagnated or repeat the process all over again. So you want to make sure you be consistent with that. Also, we got motherfucking Jupiter trine Uranus, so it's basically wisdom relating to change and uniqueness and rebellious during this time. Also, we got motherfucking Jupiter conjunct Pluto. Deep spiritual studies and expressions during this time is basically what we're going to be striving for. And of course, anything that was hidden is going to be basically brought up to surface during this time in order for us to basically expand, because you can't expand if you're holding too much shit in. When you got Mars in the first house, this is basically you're going to be dealing with self-commandment and basically new actions and new ideas and concepts that you're going to be utilizing during this time. This is basically in your first house. But when you got this in Mars, you're going to take actions towards new beginnings, as far as where you may be taking actions with your personal life or people, places, and things during this time. You're going to take power and control over that, or else it can take power and control over you during this time. You're going to be a little impulsive, and you may be a little argumentative, especially if people don't see you and see where you come from during this time. So if you got a moon in Aries, this is basically going to be like a reflection that's basically thrown back at you during this time. So you want to make sure you're in a good attention and good state of being and awareness during this time, and you don't want to act out on these motherfucking natures. And then when you got this in Taurus, you know, Mars don't really fuck with Taurus, because Mars is fire. It want to be moving and shit. And, you know, Taurus is a little stagnated, and Taurus don't like being rushed, so it might be intentions during this time. But when this is in your second house, too, this is intimacy as far as relating to people, places, and things, values, and comfort, and dealing with, and be careful with people, places, and things provoking you during this time. You don't want to be pushed to places where you don't want to be, or looking at others and taking their advice where it may not help you. And, of course, when you got this moon in Taurus, for me, be aware of stagnation, laziness. For me, you want to make sure you're moving and basically starting out in good natures. You don't want to be basically too stagnated or basically too passive during this time. For me, you want to make sure you take everything into consideration so you can see values and things and constructs in your life go ease. And if you got that moon in there, you're going to be receiving this right back at you from other people, places, and things throwing this at you. If you got this in Gemini for third house, basically impulsiveness, for me, conversations, heated arguments during this time, debates. You may love debates during this time. Be aware of that. If you got this in Gemini, talking of taking on many projects during this time is not good if you can't basically get it done, for me. Because you don't want to start something you can't finish. So make sure you plant the right seeds. Make sure you take care of your responsibilities, and not basically putting yourself in a circumstance situation of holding on too much burden during this time. Shit. So also, if you got a moon in Gemini, it's basically gonna be reflection thrown right back at you. Also, when this is in Cancer, you might, you feel me, can't, Mars don't fuck with this sign either. So basically, when this is taking shape or form, you might get into a lot of arguments and shit during this time with your family members and shit. Or you may be too inward. You may not be too outward. You may be holding too much in during this time. So basically, be aware of aggressiveness towards that. Or you might be in protection towards other people, places, things, as far as strangers when they come to your household. If you got a moon in Cancer, we got this in Cancer. Basically, it's outwardness as far as your expressions. That's what you need to be utilizing during this time. Let me put this towards the ambitions and goals during this time. You don't want to basically hold back from me. You don't want to be too stagnated. You want to make sure you basically moving around, putting passion towards whatever you love, whether it's dealing with home, private matters, or family issues. And you may lust for sex during this time too. Also, this is in fifth house. Self-expressions and going after what you want during this time is very valuable, vulnerable during this time too. Feel me? Also, when you got this in Leo, feel me, you want to watch for you want to make sure you don't get into too many projects during this time. You want to make sure you don't want to be overlooked as like the person and needy. You want to make sure you basically go for it. For me, be at a center stage and take shape and form during this time. So things can basically go fluently with you, and you won't put yourself in a circumstance situation of having too much weigh down on you. Want to make sure you release first before you start any new projects. This is a full moon during this time, so take that into consideration. If you got a moon in Leo, people are gonna be coming at you during this time with that. If this is the sixth house, basically it's dealing with actions towards daily work, routines, health during this time. So you're gonna be putting your passions towards that. And of course, if this is in Virgo, watch for basically pettiness and try to like overdo things during this time. I mean, you may take on too many responsibilities, and you may not like this interest. So be aware of that. If you got a moon in Virgo, you're gonna be receiving this from others. Partnerships, basically dealing with the seventh house. Partnerships, person drives, and she may look for somebody that can match your drive as far as aggression and passion. Try not to get too many arguments and shit. And when this is in Libra, Sun, try to find balance and try to not look for problems and shit or deficiency during this time. Make sure things is basically flowing. So full moon, you may get into transformative state. If you got a moon in Libra, you're gonna be receiving this. Eighth house, basically dealing with personal desires and shit during the sign. So you may strive and put your passions towards that. This is basically a square, so you gotta learn how to have self-control and put yourself through challenges that's gonna benefit you and not basically hold you back. And that's dealing with Sun and Scorpio. If it's Moon and Scorpio, people gonna be challenging you. Also, ninth house basically just dealing with adventure, faith, and you may get into a lot of debates during this time. So be careful. It's a full moon. You can die or you can kill somebody during this time too, especially with all this shit that's going on. If you got this in Sagittarius Sun, basically acting and thinking of hopeness and basically putting yourself in a circumstance situation where you want to be seen and admired during this time. If you got a moon in Sagittarius, there's no reflection. Capricorn, 10th house, is basically organizing practical career issues and shit, and having a moral connection, and learn how to finish your goals during this time. For me, don't procrastinate, because this is a square too. If you got this in your moon, you're going to receive this energy. And if you got this in Aquarius, basically unique humanitarian connections during this time. Try not to force your agendas on people, places, and things when this is in your 11th house. And of course, dealing with Aquarius, and especially if this is your moon Aquarius, people may force their agenda on you. And last but not least, Pisces, 12th house. Basically, this dealing with passions and desires and visions and shit. Feel me? Try not to deal with the guilt program or the anger. Try not to be around people that don't push you towards goals and shit. And try to have more self-confidence in yourself during this time too. And things will basically loosen up for me. You're gonna be having nightmares of bad shit if you're planting bad seeds, and that's about it.